Big news for the WWE. We've got 4 major signings that have the potential to change the landscape of an entire division. I'm sure you've got thoughts, so do I, so
let's talk about it.
Hey, welcome to Rumble Rewind. My name's Brandon. We've got a lot to talk about on today's episode regarding some major signings in the WWE. Before we dive into that, though, do me a quick favor. Scroll down below this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss an upload. This is one of the best and completely free ways that you can support the channel and help us grow. We really appreciate that. Really appreciate your help getting this channel out in front of other wrestling fans who want to stay up to date and just talk about wrestling. So thanks for your help as we grow this channel. Let's dive in and talk about this big news. Now, look, it's no secret that WWE has been on a bit of a run lately, and I don't mean that in a positive way. They've let several of their talent walk at the end of their contracts. Some of these we saw coming, and others were a complete and total shock. We've got the likes of Becky Lynch, Drew Gulak, Damon Kemp, Ricochet, and probably most shocking of all, Dijak, had their contracts expire, ending their current time in the WWE, bringing that season to a close. Now, some of them may be brought back at a later date, especially Becky Lynch. I see her coming back at some point in the near future, and I do think that she left of her own choice. But those other 4, WWE just let them walk and didn't re-sign them. Now, because of that, WWE has been under a bit of scrutiny lately, especially from fans, as to why their talent relations team is not working harder to keep their talent, especially when it came to Ricochet and Dijak. And opinions are split on Ricochet. For me, I get that one, but again, Dijak I think was a complete miss, and fans are questioning why. In the midst of all of this, Natalya's name has been swirling around as someone who was likely to experience the same fate. Her contract is set to expire sometime this summer. We're not sure exactly when. My best guess, my assumption would be the end of August or early September, as I would imagine with a lot of these legends and bigger names, they structure the contracts to end right after SummerSlam or WrestleMania so that they can wrap up their time if they decide to move on. But if you're a fan of Natalya, women's wrestling in general, I've got some great news. PW Insider has reported as of today that Natalya has re-signed a new deal with the WWE, and she will be staying with the company. Now, the details of the contract have not yet been made known, but it does appear that Natalya is remaining with the WWE. Now, it's true that opinions on Natalya are divided. Some fans are saying that she should definitely be re-signed, while others are saying let her go, she's past her prime, her time is done. But I do believe that this is really good news for the WWE. I think it's a big deal, and I've got several reasons why I think that. First of all, she's the longest tenured female superstar on the roster. Whether she's on TV or not, that elevates the division. It brings some prestige to the division, and it helps the division as a whole in several ways. One of those ways is that because of Natalya and who she is, she works really hard to help other competitors improve in the ring, on the mic, in their storytelling, all of it. She's a behind-the-scenes coach to a lot of younger talent who all speak very highly of Natalya and how willing she is to pass on some of her experience and expertise to these new and upcoming superstars. She's a huge influence on them, and she does it really well. So having her helps continue to build the generations of the future into incredible performers. She would be very missed in that role, and I think that part of who she is and that part of her value to the company has been very underrated by fans because we don't see it. We don't see it play out. You have to kind of follow different superstars, look for the breadcrumbs to know that that's the kind of person that Natalya is. This also shows that there's not some massive talent exodus happening in the WWE. They're not just cutting ties with all these tenured superstars and trying to start over. It shows that WWE is committed to keeping a balance of veteran talent while they build new talent. This is really good. It also adds some much needed veteran depth to the women's roster. You look at it, Becky Lynch just kind of took some time off, extended. We don't know if she's coming back or not. Charlotte Flair has been out for a while. Really, Natalya is kind of one of the most consistent. She is the most consistent performer that WWE has on the women's side. And she brings, like I said, she brings a lot of value to that division and a lot of value to WWE in general. So personally, I'm really, really excited to see Natalya stay in the company, remain with the company. And I do hope that they'll find a way here in the near future to utilize her talents really, really well. Because again, she is great. She's actually still a really, really great performer in the ring. And I get it that she's kind of past her prime, if you will, or kind of past that super marketable time in her career. So I don't know if she'll get another championship run. I don't know if she'll ever be the world champion or the WWE Women's Champion again, but I do hope that they find some ways to get her involved in meaningful ways. Now, speaking of depth though, here's what I kind of want to talk about a little bit more. We've got 3 other recent to semi-recent signings that have really caught fans' attention. And I know on some of these I'm a little late to the party to discuss it, while others are pretty fresh. But what I'm talking about is the signing of Giulia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Delta. Now, I'm going to be honest with you here. Prior to these signings, prior to these women signing with the WWE, I have never heard of any of them. I've never seen any of their work, with the exception of Stephanie Vaquer, whose name I heard kind of floating in AEW circles. But again, I've never really watched a whole lot of AEW, so I didn't see her compete there. I know that her time in AEW was a limited run. She just had a match with Mercedes, but she's been competing sort of in some lesser known promotions, and I just didn't know who she was until recently. So I'm not here to kind of talk about how great they are, what they bring to the division, how they're definitely going to win the world championships within the next 48 hours. I'm not saying all of that. I don't know. They could be the best thing ever. They could be just kind of mid. I'm not sure. But what I am saying is there are some things around this that are definitely worth talking about. What I do know is this, that since the Performance Center has become a focus, since they've begun to kind of create their own stars and build their own talent in-house, these high-profile, outside of the organization signings have really, really diminished. They've at least slowed considerably. I can't think of any off the top of my head big outside signings that have happened recently, with the exception of Ethan Page. And so again, they've kind of dwindled considerably since the WWE found that they are capable of building their own stars and creating the future stars that they need. So for them to sign these 3 women means that there's something about them that has caught the interest of WWE and has caught the attention of WWE officials. There's some reason why they would sign these 3 women from outside of the organization as opposed to just continuing to work and develop talent that they have. Right now, the heavy rumors are that all 3 of these women will debut in NXT. Now, some fans don't think that that's the right move. They believe that they're already main roster ready. I personally love that they are going to go to NXT because, one, if they are that high caliber, if they are already main roster ready, they're going to help some other NXT superstars improve quickly in big ways. But NXT is more about learning the WWE than it is about learning how to wrestle. And so for me, I think it's great to get them in NXT, let them kind of learn the systems, learn how the product works, and then move them to the main roster. They can move them quickly, but give them some time in NXT just to learn a little bit more about the WWE. Giulia's name in particular has regularly been associated with Roxanne Perez and the NXT Women's Championship. So heavily rumored that Giulia is going to be the one to come in. She's going to take that title off of Roxanne. And they're even saying that Giulia, for the foreseeable future, will be the face of NXT. Now, who knows if that's really what's going to happen? I know that she got injured and that set the timeline back. So who knows? Maybe they're going to try to speed her up to the main roster. I'm not sure. At any rate, the plans, as far as I know right now, are for Giulia to come in to be the one to dethrone Roxanne and kind of hold that belt for a little while. Here's where that gets complicated, though. NXT has an extremely deep women's division, and they have extremely limited TV time. They've got a 2-hour show to try to cram all of these stories into. So adding these 3 potentially main event caliber superstars to that division is great, but it's going to make it extremely difficult to get everyone on the show. Now, at the same time, as NXT's women's division is getting deeper and deeper, the main roster could use a little bit more talent. Now, I know that Lyra Valkyria, Blair Davenport, Kiana James, and less recently Tiffany Stratton were all kind of just called up in order to attempt to do that, but there's still some room for some potential newcomers to make a big impact. And so maybe this is what WWE is trying to do. Maybe this is the opportunity that they have to really expand the women's division in general. Now, at the same time as all of this, there are heavy rumors and speculations that the WWE will be introducing new women's mid-card championships in the very near future, which I'm very excited about. I think that this has been needed for a while. But here's my question as it relates to all of that: the signings, the new championships, the overloaded, very deep NXT women's roster. Here's my question on all of that. Could we be in the midst of a complete shakeup, an overhaul, or a complete rebuild of the WWE women's division? Stick with me for a second. Bringing in 3 superstars to NXT could really mean moving several of the current or veteran superstars over to the main roster. This would help them fill out both the tag team division and this future mid-card division. I look at names like Roxanne Perez, Lash Legend, JC Jane. All of these superstars, you could almost build the mid-card division around them. I look at others like Jakara Jackson, Gigi Dolan when she comes back, Lola Vice, and a few others as superstars who could form up to be in tag teams together, or they could join current main roster stars to form solid tag teams and fill out that division. Having a rookie with a veteran really could help them improve in the ring. We're seeing that happen with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. They're a tag team so that she can be under the tutelage, if you will, of someone like Bianca Belair. This is a great strategy for building future stars in the WWE. There's a lot of opportunity for that, and again, especially as it relates to tag teams. I mean, let's get Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez back together. Elektra's been floundering with Legado since she got up to SmackDown. I think she's competed once or twice. Let's put them together, give them a run, give them something to do. I know that Lola just had an NXT championship match, but she could potentially move up and help fill out that division. Let's bring back Gigi Dolan and pair her up with somebody like Shotzi when she makes a return, or even someone like Tegan Knox. Let them go on a tag team run. They could do some great things together, although I do think, just personally, I think that Tegan Knox is a big miss right now. And honestly, maybe they should get her down to NXT and see if she can find a little bit of magic down there like Michin has. But that's for a future video. All right, so here's my point in all of this and where we'll kind of wrap up for the day. The WWE Women's Division is very, very deep. With these signings and the re-signing of Natalya, it just got a whole lot deeper. With good booking, with interesting stories, if they play this out really well, we could easily be well on our way to almost another women's revolution where the entire scope of women's wrestling in the WWE is changed for the better. And I'm here for it. Now all we need is enough TV time to make it actually happen. But anyway, tell me your thoughts on all of this. Tell me your thoughts on the women's division. And if you are a fan of Julia, Delta, or Stephanie McCurr, tell me some great matches that I can go watch so that I can get acquainted with their work. Would love to do a little bit of market research before they make their debut. Well, anyway, that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me for a bit here on Rumble Rewind. Before you go, don't forget, do me that quick favor. Scroll down below, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications. It is a completely free way that you can support the channel, and we truly appreciate every single one of them. And you might win some free WWE gear if you just get a little bit lucky. Thanks again for hanging out with me today on Rumble Rewind. See you on the next one.